Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sim Auto Racing Association Sim Marketing Solutions Series. I'm your host here today, Derek Robinson, and this is the Hub Used Sim Racing Giveaways 150 for race number 9 of the season at Myrtle Beach Speedway in the late afternoon setting. It's going to be 150 laps of super late model action here in the iRacing Premier Short Track Super Late Model League at the Sim Auto Racing Association. Currently, the guys are out on track getting in their warm-up laps just before we go green. Currently, Ryan Doucette's fastest on the practice board, so he's showing some good pace here currently in our practice session. Now, last week, if you were with us, we had the Racing Line Broadcasting Network with Gary Weaver helping us out with some issues that we were having there last week. He's back with us once again this week. Gary, thanks for joining me here once again and doing what you're doing to get this broadcast up here, especially for our sponsors in our league. And we should have a pretty good race on our hands here tonight.
Yep, and I just now had the confirmation this is a good thing to see compared to last week. Two things happened. Well, one thing, iRacing had an update for last week. So, this past week, I should say. Thursday. I think this past Tuesday, but either way, they got an update. So basically the stream will not lag as much as it did last week because apparently a little behind the scenes, essentially, for every time the camera angle switched over, that's when it would just entirely redraw the whole sky in iRacing itself. So it's very wonderful to see that, and the health is good over on my end, so everything is going to be absolutely wonderful for tonight.
All right, that sounds awesome. Well, if you were with us last week, you got to see a pretty awesome race that was going on at Martinsville Speedway where there was 150 laps that happened there for the Salty Hooks 150 at Martinsville. We had 3 leaders for 4 lead changes with 9 cautions in total, where Jimmy Mullis came away with the victory and leading the last 17 laps of the race. Trevor Edwards came away in second place, leading 128 laps in dominating fashion, and a late race restart caught him out from winning the race, and Ryan Doucette finished third. Now, currently, Jimmy Mullis is your series point leader, where he's 40 points over Jim Caudell Jr. and 56 points over David Kokorian in third. Now, if you've been with us in seasons prior, you know that that's a pretty good gap that Jimmy Mullis has over the field. In prior seasons, it's been pretty close coming down to the last race. So Mullis has definitely put together a heck of a season so far this year. He's got 3 wins, 1 pole, and 6 top 5s to go to credit to his name. So he's definitely dominated the season here once again. And currently he's P11 on the practice board, so he's a little bit off on time, but I would have no doubt in my mind he's going to be up towards the front before all this is said and done. Now, he will be starting 10th here tonight due to the winner's invert from winning last week. As long as he qualified in the top 10. I did not write down where he qualified, so I apologize for that. Now, coming into this week, like I said, we're here at Myrtle Beach. Last night's race for the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series. We'll put on some heck racing. Some pretty good racing, so we'll have to see what these guys here in this invite-only league can do and what they can provide here for us for some short track racing. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull down Matt Rolfe here real quick. We'll get a quick word with him and see what the Series League admin has to say. Like I said, we got the Hub Used Sim Racing Giveaways 150 here tonight. Matt, thanks for joining us up here in the booth real quick. We're at Myrtle Beach. We got the new sky going on with iRacing, and you were able to watch the races last night. So what do you expect here tonight with these top iRacing short track drivers?
Yeah, so we got about 28, 29 cars out here tonight, so there should be plenty of rubber laid down, plenty of heat in the track. Track temps are up a decent amount from what the air temp is right now. So as the night goes on, that'll cool down a little bit, even though we'll have laps on it. So between the rubber getting down on the track and the temps cooling down, track should gain some grip. Probably guys that are able to set up for that later on in the night will be strong at the end. And as we get towards the end of the race, those lights will come on. It'll be kind of cool to have this race end under the lights. It won't be dark or anything, but it'll be cool to have the lights come on. Yeah, we'll see the track change throughout the race, especially if we get some long green flag runs.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, last week at Martinsville Speedway, and let's make this short and sweet here for you, you didn't have a very good run. Did you expect it to be a little bit better here tonight? I know you had a pretty decent qualifying effort, so that's at least should help the bottom line here for you being able to run up more towards the front.
Yeah, the qualifying set was good tonight. I'm still working on a race setup. It's doesn't quite have the feel I'm looking for. But once we get into the race, things should kind of settle in a little bit, and it's not so much about finding the smaller things in the setup. You kind of just get into a rhythm and go from there. So I think I got inverted towards the front of the field. I don't expect to stay there all night because I'm struggling a little bit right now, but hopefully we can keep it in the top 10 or so, and hopefully these guys put on a good show.
Absolutely. And before we get you on your way, is there any thanks or shout-outs that you'd like to give before you get out on the track?
Yeah, as always, big thanks to Sim Marketing Solutions for sponsoring the series, and the Hub used sim racing giveaways for coming on board for tonight's race, and all the other sponsors that help us out as well. I appreciate all their support. I think that's about it. Thanks for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, good luck to you. I mean, with any luck, maybe we'll be able to talk to you by the end of the night. So,
all right.
Good luck, bud.
Thanks.
All right. That's our league admin and fearless leader, Matt Rolfe. He puts a lot of this stuff together, puts a lot of his time into it, so we definitely appreciate him there. And like he said, thanks to the Hub Use Sim Racing Giveaways. They're a Facebook group. If you don't know who they are, they're a Facebook group that serves as basically a hub to give away a wide range of used sim racing products and services to the iRacing community. Definitely go check them out on Facebook. They got a lot of cool things that they do give away. It's very simple to do. On those, you just go and join the group. If you see something up there that you like, whether it be a computer or wheel, whatever the case may be, for the racing purposes, go out there and you can place your bid by a spot, and they do live drawings and everything. So it's pretty cool. Definitely go check those guys out. Thanks for sponsoring here tonight for the Myrtle Beach 150. And like I said, without those guys, we couldn't do what we do here. That's 100% for sure. That goes along with their other sponsors as well. And also, we have the Hides Pride head-to-head throwdown. We do that each week, where basically a random row is selected by an anonymous person that would remain nameless. It's actually me who chooses it, and it's just random before qualifying even starts. And tonight was roll 9, and we'll get to them here once we grid up. Tell you who will come away potentially with a little bit extra prize money. Basically, all they have to do is the driver in that row, in row 9, finishes higher than the other one. So it's pretty much head-to-head between those two guys in row 9. All you got to do is finish ahead of them. If you finish second to last, he finishes last, you still win a little money. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. Like I said, this is a Sim Marketing Solution Sim Series, and basically Sim Marketing Solutions also introduces real-world sponsors to sim racers and works with them to ensure that they receive maximum benefit for their exposure to the sim racing community. So go check those guys out as well on Facebook. Hit them up. They do a lot of great things. They have a few drivers here with us as well. They got Samuel Roush, Trevor Edwards, and Brandon Wilkinson. Those guys have been fast pretty much all season as well, especially Wilk. He's been pretty quick here of late with the Front Stretch Mafia crew. They got something figured out with these super late models, and Sim Marketing Solutions have hopped on board with him, and like I said, a couple other guys definitely have helped them out and getting their name out there, and they're doing other things outside of the super late models as well. Definitely go check those guys out. We appreciate their effort that they put in this year for the late model series here on Thursday night, which is invite only. Like I said, we do have other sponsors as well, as we got H&H Sign Supply, big long-time sponsor here. Davis Chassis Works, they're a sponsor our Wednesday night super late model series, and that one you can sign up for if you go to racesara.com or the Sim Model Racing Association on Facebook. You can sign up for that and you can come in. Now, if you do well enough on that Wednesday night league, you run up front, you get a couple of wins, you can get the invite up to the Thursday night league, what you're watching here tonight, and you can battle it out with the best short track super late model series drivers on the iRacing service. You have Hides Pride, Leather and Sheepskin, like I said, they're doing the head-to-head throwdown. Midwest Power Source, Callaway Investments, who are our Tuesday night tour mod sponsor. Race1.us is our Monday night dirt sponsor. Salty Hooks, Ty Spearman, go check him out on YouTube. The Hub Used Sim Racing Giveaways, they're a sponsor for here tonight. Harding Motorsports Supply, Canfield Auto Body, JB Trucking, and RBRC and the Russell Brown Race Cars. Like I said, without those guys, we couldn't do what we do here tonight. Now, the guys are gridded up here, and we'll go through the lineup. And if you see what I'm seeing, it's the old Wiley Vet starting on the pole here again tonight. Ty Spearman in the 92 car. On the outside of him, as we just spoke to him, was Matt Rolfe, starting in the 5 car. Brian Helm with a solid qualifying effort here. Raced with him a little bit last night myself. The 26 car, and the outside of him is Ryan Matthews starting P4. Three-time series champion and Joe Schaefer Jr. in his button box shop Posse Toyota. Number 6 car starting 5th. On the outside of him is number 11 car of Devin Morgan. Ryan Doucette, who was fastest in practice here, warm-up practice, and also your fall brawl winner in the 77 car starting 7th. 3 7s, it seems lucky keeping your eye out for him. Jim Caudell Jr., second in points, is starting 8th. 9th with a great qualifying effort there in the epic marketing Toyota Camrys and Drew Kryback. Starting P10, your series point leader, and Jimmy Mullis. 11th is Keith Medeiros. 12th in the 03 is Chris Canfield. 13th in the Sim Marketing Solutions driver and Brendan Wilkinson. 14th is the 110 of Alex McCullum. 15th, 18 car, Donald Clark. And then the 08 starting 16th, Tyler Price. 17th is your other Sim Marketing Solutions driver and Trevor Edwards. Make sure we don't miss the green flag here. That's going to do it there for your lineup here currently. And it's going to be on Ty Spearman to bring them to the green flag.
Green flag.
And we are green, green, green. He gets off to a pretty good start. Matt Rolfe is going to pull in behind him as they go down into turn 1. Front 2 have gone single file. Front 3 now. Brian Hellman gets checked up there on the outside of Devin Morgan. And he's got really tight coming out of 2 there. Oh, it looks like there's one spinning in 3 and 4. Not too sure who that may have been. Jim Caudell Jr. Here you'll be able to see if we can get that pulled up there and describe what happened there for us.
Yeah, sure thing. It's going to get just a bit, as we went a little bit too far on the replay, but it could work. We could be riding on board with number 1, and this is pretty much just the first lap that we've had, so pretty unfortunate for Caudell Jr. to get up into this position, unfortunately, or sent back, I should say, but we'll find out. That's 26 on the inside, and into turn 3, running his line. May have just gotten a little bit of a bump, maybe from the number 6. I'm not sure about that, but the 81 and somebody else. I think that's a 20. That's a 38, I believe. That also made some other contact there. So essentially, just nowhere to go. Yeah, I think it was Michael Goddard. It was.
Yeah, Goddard got into it there a little bit. I think the 81 of Goddard got in it as well. Yeah, it did look like that Joe in the 6 car there, Joe Schaefer Jr., got into Jim Caudell just a little bit, getting into 3. Moved up the track a little bit. He may have scraped the valence on the ground getting into 1 and caused him to shove it up there a little bit. And we'll see what ends up happening here, if Joe ends up claiming it or not. And basically, if you don't know what I'm speaking of there, the Sim Racing Association does have the gentleman's rule, which basically drivers are encouraged to claim fault for any cautions that they may cause. And they will be given an EOL, end-of-line penalty, during the race. Now, basically, it is up to you to claim your cautions. If you do not claim them, and the admins do watch all the replays of every race, not just here on Thursday nights, that's throughout the whole league afterwards, and just to make sure there's no funny business going on or anything of those sorts. And which Joe is claiming the caution here, so he's going to go ahead to the end of the line. Now, if you don't claim it and we feel that you are at fault, you will get an end-of-the-line penalty after the race. So if you're on the lead lap, you'll be last. If you're 1 lap down, you're behind the 1 lap down cars, and so forth. You get the idea. It's always best to go ahead and try to go ahead and claim that. Ty Spearman's going to bring them back down to green as they're here in 3 and 4. Drivers have been encouraged, whoever the leader is, to start the restarts in turn 4.
Ready, green flag.
That's what Spearman's going to do here. Is we're back to green, green, green. Ryan Matthews gets off to a better restart this time. So does Matt Rolfe, as far as that goes, as they go down to 1 and 2 side by side. The whole field here is side by side. Now Spearman's going to go ahead and clear himself out of 2. Ryan Matthews in the 51 and Rolfe in the 5 are still side by side, coming out of 4. Good battle here for second. Now Matt said he wasn't too comfortable with his race set. We'll see how long he's able to hang out here. He's going to have a little company going down to 3 as Ryan Doucette who was fastest in warm-up practice, as I stated. He's already making his way up to 5th, almost 4th now. Officially he's 4th now. Well, he's obviously got a fast piece underneath him here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Now, speaking with Ty last night, Ty Spearman, that is your current race leader, he was pretty satisfied with his race piece as he's getting a lot of pressure from the 51 of Ryan Matthews right now. Spearman's been off just a little bit this year. He will tell you that himself. He's been off just a little bit. And well, it's good to see him running up front here once more. He had a good run there at Martinsville last week as well. Matthews keeps showing his nose. He's not able to do anything with Ty currently. Pretty much running the same lap times. Ryan Doucette was about a 10th faster than them. Matthews going to finally show his nose getting down into 3 as they're going to be side by side coming out of turn 4. See if Matthews is able to get the power down. He looks like he did pretty well. Spearman's going to give him the inside. Now here's where the problem was last night. I'll speak to personal experience on this. If you get down to the inside of someone, it's extremely hard to make the pass. You're going to be able to do it. It's going to be early on in the race like this when the tires and everything are still fairly fresh, but you can still light them up in the rear end, bend the tires pretty easily, especially when you're pinched down there a little bit. Matthews is making it work. Spearman bounces it off the wall, coming out of 2 a little bit. You've seen some sparks got down in the door there, and Ryan Matthews just a little bit because of it. Spearman's got a little bit of right side damage. Shouldn't affect his car too much. Give the lead to Ryan Matthews that lap as he led that lap. No, he did not. He did not lead that lap. The timing's a little bit late. These guys are still side by side for the lead. Ryan Doucette's trying to figure out which one he needs to go with. Looks like he's going to go up top with Spearman, and this is what I'm talking about. Spearman's able to pretty much hold up Ryan Matthews, and if you're down the bottom, you just got to hope steady and hope for a mistake, which it looks like Spearman got a little bit loose in the middle of 2. That might be just enough for Ryan Matthews to finally get by. He's able to get the drive. He's not. Spearman really squared the exit pretty well. Doucette's looking to make it 3 wide. Not able to do it as they get down into turn 1 and 2. Matthews finally cleared Spearman as the caution comes out.
How you doing in there,
If you're
kid?
Ty Spearman, you hope you're 3rd, so you can be on the inside on this restart. That called L again. Oh, Tyler Price. He parked that thing. That thing has been all to hell. We're going to see what we can figure out what happened with this guy, but I have a feeling he's not the only one that got involved in that, as beat up as that car is.
Nope, it was just one of those racing incidents. Oh, Samuel Roush got involved as well. Someone else, the 72, got a hard hit. The 1 of Caldwell may have gotten a piece of it, I'm not sure. But, yeah, what happened was the Tyler Price, he went down in front of Donald Clark, I believe, tried to make it, tried to, in a way, shut the door and just protect that position. But unfortunately, the 18 was already there onto the inside of that 08.
Yep. Oh, man, it's a tough break there for Roush. Yeah, Ben Nile in the 72 came in there, had nowhere to go, and Caldwell, came in there as well, nowhere for him to go. So that explains the damage on the 08 of Price was from Ben Nile. And a tough break for Roush there as well. He's had a rough go of it this week as far as for qualifying and race-wise in these here at Myrtle Beach. So he's probably going to be happy to go ahead and pack things up and work his way on over to next week, which next week we will be at, it's basically championship week, so it's the Lanier National Speedway. So yeah, so that brings out our second caution here tonight. And we've had one lead change, which seen Ryan Matthews get around Ty Spearman. Like I said, it's our second caution. Spearman has led the most laps here so far. And currently he's P3, Ryan Doucette's P2, and Ryan Matthews is P1. But Matthews has led 5 laps. And we'll see what he does here on this restart, especially for Ryan Doucette. I'd be extremely interested to see if Doucette's able to hang it on the outside, if he's able to get off to a good restart for one. But if he can hang on the outside. I do know last night in the Davis Chasten Works Contender Series here, if you're able to get off to a good restart, you really could hang on the outside there a little bit and even make a pass or two. So,
Green
starting on
flag.
the outside,
Everybody's rolling.
we're back to green, so I need to click live. And Matthews got off to a great start. Doucette's going to fall in behind him. Like the 11 of Devin Morgan's going to go ahead and take over P3 here on Spearman. Spearman gets loose and he's wrecking.
Caution, caution. How you doing in there, kid?
I didn't catch that. I caught that out just out of the corner of my eye. See what? Yeah, I'll go ahead and walk us through that there.
Yeah, as we saw just live, essentially, that's actually really good timing. Good camera angle there, ironically, but yeah, we saw what happened, and well, not immediately what happened, but here is a replay, of course, and let's see, 92 Spearman comes up, and oh man, the 11 to Morgan just gets on the outside wall, and unfortunately 12 gets a hard shot. The 21 was also involved, 36 and 66 also get a few pieces of that, but yeah, Devin Morgan got onto the outside wall, and then that, of course, sent the momentum to the 92 who was on the inside, and unfortunately that's what happened, and that's what we saw right on that restart.
Yeah, and the 11 bounced it off the wall there a little bit and hit Ty, and Ty goes flying across the track, and he collects a couple of his teammates there, and Jason Tarasenko in the 21 and Drew Kryback in the 12. And then DK comes in there a little bit, and Mark Royer does as well. Royer coming off his top 10 finish last week, so his career best here, and a little rough luck going into it. So that can happen here coming out of turn 2. The car can get a little bit tight and get up into the wall, or even get a little bit loose where you have to chase it up there a little bit. And that outside wall here at Myrtle Beach specifically can be a little monster. They can grab you and get a hold of the car and do all kinds of funky things to it, and definitely shoot you down the track. So it was no fault to Spearman, just hard racing and tough luck, unfortunately. And so your pole sitter here tonight is going to go ahead and park it and put it up on the truck there. So he's done here for tonight. An unfortunate break. I doubt Devin Morgan's going to end up claiming that. I mean, it was just one of those deals where he bounced it off the wall. Technically, did he claim it? Yes, but I don't think that's not what the rule is intended for, basically. That's just hard racing and stuff happens. Get the one to go here. So we're on lap 25 of 150. That cleaned out some good cars, I will say that much. Those posse guys had something here tonight, I believe, and wiped out a few of them on that one wreck. Just joining us, this is the Sim Auto Racing Association Sim Marketing Solutions Series for the Hub Youth Sim Racing Giveaways 150 here at Myrtle Beach. Ryan Matthews is your leader, and he's back under green.
Flag.
Gets off to a great restart. Ryan Doucette does not, and Devin Morgan's going to go ahead and fill that hole for P2. So those guys are side by side going down into down into 1 and 2. Coming down the backstretch here once again. Morgan's not going to have him cleared. And you can see Doucette really being able to hold Morgan down there a little bit. And if you're Ryan Matthews, this is what you want to see. Easy sledding for him currently. Matt Rolfe in the 5 car is P4. As these front 4 now 5, 6, 7, pretty much 8th, all the way back to 8th is single file. Back here a little bit further to the 32 car of Trevor Edwards. Him and Justin LeDuc, we're in row 9. It's Edwards in the 32 in the yellow and black car, and it's LeDuc in the 27 in the red car. So whoever finishes in front of who there wins the Hyde's Pride head-to-head throwdown. A little extra money. Oh, it looks like LeDuc and Brian Helm get into it. They're wrecking down the backstretch. No caution. Joe Shaver Jr. is drifting out in turn 3. Looks like he's trying to avoid that. We still have no caution. That was a tough break there for Justin LeDuc and Brian Helm. Those guys fell back to 27th place for Justin LeDuc. Got a good battle going on here for 4th between the 60 car of Keith Medeiros and the 5 car of Matt Rolfe. Got the series point leader in the 40 car, Jimmy Mullis, just behind him. Mullis has got some right front damage, so he's got into the wall or got into somebody. Same can be said for Keith Medeiros. Rolfe's car is pretty clean currently, which is a complete opposite of what it was last week. Completely destroyed the thing. The only thing he didn't hit was the pace car, and you can't do that on here. So what 1 week can do for you. Looks like we got a battle for the lead going on up here as Ryan Doucette has ran down Ryan Matthews. And like stated, Doucette was fast in practice, and he's got something figured out here. On lap 33 of 150. Now the hard part is if you're Doucette, you got to find a way around Matthews. And like I said, the top side's where you're going to do it. Matthews right now is bottom feeding. I just don't think the top side's there just as of yet. Probably going to take it about another 15, 20 laps potentially. And right now the track temp's at 74 degrees, air temp's at 68. Need that track temp to get up just a little bit more. I think that top side can definitely come in. As Matthews was pretty much your second fastest car on the racetrack, Jimmy Mullis was your fastest car. About 5 thousandths of a second, so not by too much. That's another thing here, especially with this build specifically. Once you start getting a run in on these cars, a lot of guys start to even out as far as race time. It gets extremely difficult to pass. You got to get pretty creative with your lines and hope that your car is balanced just right enough where you can do that. Maybe force the guy in front of you to make a mistake and maybe get a run on him and get a pass. But it's extremely difficult to do. In prior builds, you had a little bit more grip in these things, and you can make some passes. But now you get a little more creative with it, maybe a little bit more physical. And Matthews currently is running a little bit more defensive line than probably what he would like, but it's keeping Ryan Doucette at bay. These guys are pulling away from third just ever so slightly each lap. Still currently 25 cars on the lead lap. Started 29 here tonight. Currently Ben Niles off the racetrack. Ty Spearman's out there making laps, which is shocking to me. I figured he would have already taken his sleeping pills and been laying in bed knocked out. But he's still out there making laps. Same thing can be said for Justin LeDuc. So we got 28 cars on the track. 26, excuse me, is on the lead lap. Ryan Matthews is still currently your leader. Track temp's up to 76 degrees. You're going to see Doucette look on the outside of him. This might be the time to go ahead and pull the trigger. He's going to do the crossover. Looking down low, Matthews left him a little bit of room, but Doucette wasn't able to make it happen. Matthews shuts the door. Ryan Doucette is clearly faster than Ryan Matthews. So he's able to get around him. You'll probably see him pull away just a little bit, but like I stated, it's extremely difficult to pass. Even more difficult so here as these cars tend to get a little bit loose on late exit. And he's all over the rear bumper. Probably going to show his nose here once more. He's going to, nope, just fall in line into turn 1 and 2. Personally, if I were him, I'd move up, especially into 1 and 2. Take a little higher entry into 1, 3 and 4, just follow him through. Oh, he's on the outside of him. That's tight coming out at 4. They almost hit the wall. This is what he should have done last lap right here. Be on the outside of him. Going to get the drive off of turn 2 as they're side by side down the front stretch. Like I said, this is the battle for the leaders. We're coming up a third way through this race. He's going to have him clear come out of turn 4. We got a new leader in the 77 car of Ryan Doucette. Like I said, we'll be interested to see if he's able to pull away here any. What kind of lap times he can turn here now he's out in clean air. Matthews may be able to pick up a couple things that Doucette's able to do. Maybe he can find some time himself. Maybe make a couple adjustments there with his brake bias and get his car tuned back up just a tad bit. Stay up here with Doucette. Maybe even try to repass him. As Doucette was your second fastest car, third fastest car out there. Jim Caudell in 11th was a tick faster, and Matt Rolfe back there in 6th was just a tick faster than him as well. This lap, first clean lap, about the same way. So a lot of these guys are running about the same lap times here now. So that pass that Doucette made was pretty impressive. There we go. Now he finally laid down the flyer there as he is at 19.0s. Next fastest car was a 19.12. Trevor Edwards back in 8th. So he's definitely the fastest car here. We'll go back to 3rd with Jimmy Mullis, our series point leader. Trying to find his way around Alex McCollum, and this is important because at least on the restarts you want to be on the inside line here. But the outside's pretty difficult. The inside line usually goes anyways because it's a lot easier to go with the leader when you're on the inside line. And Mullis is fighting pretty hard here just in case there is a caution. Right now we got a pretty green flag look through the race. And but like I stated, you'd rather be on the inside here on the restart. So he's battling pretty hard with Devin Morgan. Got Keith Menderos just behind him, and then the 5 car, Matt Rolfe. Menderos is pretty quick here last night as well. Ran into some issues. And still showing some great pace here tonight. So he's able to figure out a few things from last night in the Contender Series and apply it here in the Sim Marketing Solutions Series. And that's what the Wednesday Night League is all about for the guys that are dual eligible. Come and show up on Wednesday night, tune on your car a little bit, and whatever you learn there, hopefully you can apply here for Thursday night and come away with a good run or even a win, which we've seen a couple of times. Guys will go out Wednesday night and win and come over here on Thursday night and win as well. Pulse is looking back down to the inside. These guys have been side by side for a little bit now. Good hard racing going on here for 3rd. Like I stated, the Sim Marketing Solutions, they got a few drivers out here. They got Samuel Roush. He's from Tucson, Arizona. The Sim Marketing Solutions Midwest Power Source Inc. Dynamic Auto Sports Group. He's in a 13 car. Currently he's P18. P19 he's battling back here with Brian Helm. And he had a rough go of it. We seen him get caught up in that wreck. Got a little damage on the front end there as well. He's battling with 61 of Adam Joslin. Trevor Edwards, he's in a 32 car. He's currently P6. He's made his way up from, if I'm not mistaken, he started 18th here tonight. I'll tell you in a second. Started 17th, excuse me, so it's close. From Shepherdsville, Kentucky. He's right down the road here for me. And Midwest Power Source Sim Marketing Solutions. He's not on a team, still a free agent. I do believe he's been working with Samuel Roush a little bit. Could be mistaken. But he's made his way up here. You got Brandon Wilkinson in the 56 car. Wilkes in the 9th right now. He's from Pawcatuck, Connecticut. He's with the Front Stretch Mafia Group. Like I said, they've hit on something here of late, been really fast. And he's currently up to 9th. So you got 2 of the Sim Marketing Solutions drivers in the top 10. Roush was letting down the group as a whole. Not of his own doing there. Definitely go check those guys out. Like I said, they support the league, they support drivers. We'll give them some love, hit them up, be able to help you out, get a little more exposure for some of you guys. There's a lot of good sim racing drivers out there. Really good sim racing drivers out there. you're wondering how you can get your name out there just a little bit more, that's the way you can do it. Go check those guys out. They'll be able to help you out. Get your name out there, get it seen by some of the right people in the sim marketing world. Never know where it can go from there. We're on lap 63 of 150. Coming up on halfway before too long. As Mullis is still trying to work over Devin Morgan. And if you're Morgan, you're fighting for dear life, and if you're Jimmy Mullis, you're probably enjoying it, but you're also frustrated with it, running side by side with someone for what seems like 50 laps here now, and you can't get by them. But Morgan's doing his job and holding him off. If you're able to hold off Jimmy Mullis, I mean, he's a Super Late Model Series champion here in the Sim Auto Racing Association. If you're able to hold him off, you're doing something. Like I say, he's got 3 wins on the season and having a great season. And so if you're able to do that, you clearly have some speed in the car. They're going to be coming up on Tyler Price, lap down traffic. I'm surprised he's got that thing fixed. That thing's bent every which way but straight. And they're going to come up on him here. So one of them's going to get the short end of the stick here. See who it is. Price may just pull over here on the inside. Nope, he's still letting it eat. Oh, and Mullis and Morgan get into it just a little bit. Morgan gets into the wall. Mullis is finally going to clear him after all those laps. He's got Metaros right there behind him. Price ain't giving anyone a break here for whatever reason. He's about to get looped, and that's exactly what happened. Price is going to go ahead and get turned. He's a lap down. I know that much. And those leaders were up there battling, and for whatever reason, he was battling with them pretty hard, and he has every right to be racing. But looks like he may have came down on Mullis just a little bit. Mullis wouldn't have any part of it. Loop Tyler Price around. If you got any cool views on that, to rewatch that, especially from Mullis's point of view.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now. Replay coming up. Well, pretty much right now. So on board the number 40 Mullis, he moves to the inside. Price also moves to the inside. It's just one of those things. I mean, it's just where Price should have moved out of the way. I mean, like you mentioned, he does have every right to be racing up there with everybody else. But I mean, comes to a point where if someone's at least battling behind you, I would personally move out of the way.
Yep, and it's just, you know, it is what it is. I doubt Mullis is going to end up claiming that caution. I personally wouldn't. So, you know, the green flag was out. So, you know, Mullis, it was go time. He had pressure back there behind him from Metaros, and Morgan wanted to get back up there as well, as he, you know, held those guys off forever. There was slight contact between them both there and got into the wall, so I'm sure he wanted to get back up there and get a spot back at least. And Price was right there, and he didn't want to give up any room at all or really, you know, hold down Mullis, and Mullis wasn't having it. Just 2 drivers fighting over real estate. So that's short track racing. That's the way it goes. It will be interesting to see if Mullis has anything here. Like I stated, he's got some damage on the right front. It's not too significant. Nose is still straight and everything, so he should be fine. These cars aren't that sensitive when it comes to it. A little damage on the front. Currently, your leader is Ryan Doucette. That started 7th, so he's up 6 positions, and he's led 26 laps here. 3 more laps will be halfway. Ryan Matthews just behind him led his fair share of laps here as well. And that was our 4th caution here tonight. We've had 2 lead changes. That was when Ryan Matthews passed Ty Spearman, and the other one was when Ryan Doucette passed Ryan Matthews. We'll see what kind of restart that Doucette gets here. Super easy to spin the tires on these restarts, especially as we're making our way halfway to the race, or through the race, excuse me. And super easy to spin the tires. Depends on what kind of gear that these guys are running. If they're running a 3rd gear setup, 2nd gear, maybe what some of them may be running. We ran a 4th last night. Personally, myself, I was starting 3rd and go to 4th and just let it eat that way. But we'll see what kind of restart these guys get. Very easy to spin the tires and get the field all bunched up, or maybe even have an incident here. So we'll see what happens here with Ryan Doucette, as he will control the restart. Will be on him. Matthews going to try to hang with him there on the outside.
Green
We're
flag.
back to green, green, green. Matthews gets off to a pretty good restart. He's going to go ahead and take his spot there down on the inside for 2nd. Jimmy Mullis going to finally clear Meteros coming out of 2 for 3rd. These guys are battling hard. I'll tell you the guy that I'm keeping an eye on, especially on the charts, and now he's making your way into the screen, is that 32 car, Trevor Edwards. Guy's flying up through the field here. And still Marketing Solutions, Chevrolet Camaro. Good looking piece that he has there. And he's been making his moves there on the outside. He was fast last week in Martinsville. Like I said, he led the most laps and late restart there. Had a little incident where he got a little help on the restart. Really messed up his restart, so he ended up losing the lead to Jimmy Mullis. Well, he's having back-to-back great runs here, so that's good to see there for Trevor Edwards, as he's up to P5. And one of your fastest cars on the racetrack currently. Looks like this top side is coming in just a little bit. Watching these guys go around. Matthews is going to go ahead and go on up there. Alex McCollum in the 110 going to go up there as well, but Jimmy Mullis ain't going to have any part of that top side talk. Now he's down low trying to make his move on Ryan Matthews as he gets a little help from Meteros in 3 and 4. Gets him loose. We got to start all over again, and Matt Rolfe is sliding down to the inside. There's no caution. Looks like he may even got it off track in enough time. Not 100% sure what happened to him, but he was sliding across into the infield. No caution for him. Tough break for Matt Rolfe as he was running up there in the top 10. I think he was running somewhere around 8th before all that happened. 100% sure what happened there with him. I'm sure he'll let me know in our team chat before too long. Tough break there for Matt Rolfe, who's having a solid run here tonight, and that's exactly what he wanted. He's wanted a solid run. He wasn't happy with the setup too much. Matthews gets in the wall coming out of 4. And there's a big wreck down the front stretch. Tim Bills, there's about 10 or 8, there's about 10 cars that got involved in that one. Tim Bills was the first one I seen come across my screen. Goddard's in it, Bills is in it. Like the 38 of Goddard's in it. Donald Clark. Bunch of guys came sliding up into that one. Man, that was a huge wreck coming out of 4. It looks like it started with the 37 and the 03.
Yeah, I did. I got it up right here, so barely caught the tail end of that one as well. So going to just probably go through this maybe just a little bit slower. Oh, maybe not. For speed, nope. All right then. Yeah, definitely a very big wreck. We'll restart this replay for a better angle, or better speed rather. Slow this down and head over to the to a blimp camera here, and everything else went down. So 37 comes up onto the 03. They make contact. They both spin out. Then that's the 81. Also makes contact. That's Gareth Gonder. Someone else is also in that. 66 is down to the inside through the grass even. Then the 26, I believe. Yeah, that's the 26 who was also spinning just before he's trying to check up for the accident. And then just about 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7 people from what I'm seeing have definitely made contact. Although on the bright side for the 13, he barely managed to avoid it.
Yeah, Roush barely got through that. 26 Brian Helm, he's basically behind the 66 of David Kokorian. And he couldn't see the wreck happening. David Kokorian went sliding down the inside, and Helm was pretty much in a crap moment. Slammed on the brakes and spun the car around. And of course, a lot of us run a lot of rear braking in these cars. And so it's easy to loop around. So it's a tough break for him and a bunch of other guys. Just hard racing there between Canfield and Bills. I think they made a little bit of contact coming out of 2 prior to that as well. So guys are battling hard. And and a huge wreck down the front stretch, and tore up some pretty good race cars. Has a pretty gnarly wreck, to be honest with you. A bunch of guys come sliding in there, and it's it's hard to see through these cars because you're sitting so low in them. And the banner across the front windshield, you got a real narrow field of view out of the windshield. So when you're tucked up behind one of these cars, with the big spoilers on them, even though they're clear, and the rear end and stuff, it's pretty hard to see through them, especially when there's a wreck out front like that. And you come sliding in there and tear up a bunch of stuff. So that was interesting to see, and brought out our 5th caution. Currently, Doucette's still your leader. It's around lap 85 of 150. Right, 1 to go. Mullis is on the outside here. We'll see what kind of restart he gets. If he's able to get off to just as good a restart as what Ryan Matthews did last time, or if he's able to get off to a better restart and challenge Ryan Doucette for the lead. I do think Mullis is a little bit faster, or just as fast as Doucette, but like I said, the guy I'm keeping my eye on still is the 32 car with Trevor Edwards. As it starts P5 on this restart, we'll see what Doucette does here.
Green.
We're back to green, green, green. Spun the tires just a little bit, but he's able to get going pretty good. Mullis is going to fall in behind him in P2. Battle for third carries on here between Matthews and Medeiros. They're side by side going down the backstretch. Matthews moves up just a little bit. Medeiros has got a good drive out of 4. Those guys still side by side as they go back down into 3 and 4. See some of them fan out there in 3 and 4 as well. 1 and 2 is pretty much 2 ways to get through there, especially when you're side by side. 3 and 4, you get a little bit more options. As the groove really starts to widen out, the track starts widening out, coming out of 4. Narrows back up once you get back on what would be the straightaway, even though it's a little bit more of an arc straightaway. Medeiros is able to get around Matthews finally for P3. Trevor Edwards going to set his sight there on Matthews for P4. That's where Edwards is making his money. Is there on the top side, especially in 3 and 4. That thing is hooked up in 3 and 4 on the outside. 1 and 2 he's able to maintain with whoever's on the inside of him. We'll watch him get down here in 3 and 4. We'll let the car roll through the center. It'll cut right there, and he's able to flat-foot it off, it seems like. Really get good drive out of turn 4. Matthews gets a little loose out of 2. Yep, right there. I mean, just like you can see it right there on your television screen, on your monitor, where Edwards' car is really rolling the center extremely well, where he's able to pick up the throttle just a little bit and carry the momentum. But Matthews is still holding his own down on the inside, but I believe Edwards is going to have him cleared coming out of 4. And he does. So Trevor Edwards is up to P4. Let's see if he's able to run down these front 3. A lot of guys now, it's up about a groove or so in 3 and 4. If we stay green here, you're going to see them move up just a little bit more. Not too much, though. With this new build, the groove doesn't widen out nearly as fast or as much as it used to. And not necessarily a bad thing. It's not, depends on the track. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Here, I don't think it's bad, as it's pretty much running as it should. Edwards is starting to scoot away here from Matthews just a little bit. Go back here to P8. In the number 6 car, Joe Schaefer Jr. in his button box shop posse Toyota Camry. And he was the cause of the first caution there. Made his way back up to 8th. That's DK David Krikorian with a ton of damage on the right front of his car. Still holding strong. Clearly not having an effect on him too much. Jay forgot a throwback scheme going on there. One of his older paint schemes on his newer car. You know it's older. It looks pretty sharp. I would tell you who the painter is, but I don't think that guy would be too happy. He's retired from painting besides his own cars. That's the guy who we talked to pre-race. So if you're not sure who that is, go back and watch this race. Pre-race, an interview, and figure out who it is. Want to back up here to the 40 car of Jimmy Mullis. Mullis has got some company behind him, Keith Medeiros, and well, Mullis is going to go ahead and let him go. Got a new P2. Mullis is surprisingly he's not able to stay with Doucette, so either Doucette's picked it up a little bit here, or Mullis has fallen off just a little bit. Now the sun is going down. Looked like Medeiros was really driving it out of 2 there. That thing looked a little sideways, but the sun's starting to go down a little bit. Track temperature, check that out real quick. Pulled down to a balmy 73 degrees. Air temp's down 1 degree to 67. What's at 68? Track's probably tightening up just a little bit, and that might be helping Medeiros' car out, maybe hurting Mullis's. Tell you who it's not hurting, 77 car, Brian Doucette. He's done pulled out to about a second lead here over second place. Trevor Edwards is running down second and third here ever so slightly. He's got it within about a second of Jimmy Mullis. It was 1.2 there just a couple laps ago.
I think we're under
As we have our
caution here.
We have our 6th caution here tonight. Oh, Adam Joslin on his lid. On the 61 car. Looks like he got into the tire barriers on pit road. Not sure how he got there though.
Yeah, just got the replay up and contact with, no, I don't know I was paying attention, but that was the 81 and hit the back end on the pit entry and just a very slow rollover there. So that was with the number 81. So 81 and 61, ironically, in terms of car numbers, they both made contact. That was Gareth Gonder. Second caution that's been involved in, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, and the other unfortunate part, that's probably the most realistic physics portion of a rollover that I've ever seen on here. He's got an entire barrier and just low rolled him over. Ended his 9th there, so some contact between the 81 and the 61. That's going to end the night here prematurely for Adam Joslin in the 61 car. He'll get that piece put back together and show up next week for Lanier, which is the championship week, pre-championship week. It was scheduled to be our championship week. Unfortunately, the Oxford Plains one had to be rescheduled. So that's technically going to be our last race. Both of those are HeidsPride.com events, conveniently enough, so they'll be in back-to-back showings there for them. Now, we will be off during the week of Christmas, and if you have a problem with that, then I don't know what to tell you. But next week at Lanier, like I said, it'll be Thursday, December 30th, off the week. We'll be back on Thursday, January 3rd. Hopefully everyone's sobered up by then. We'll come out here for the last race of the season for the Oxford Plains 150. Both of those are HeidsPrides.com sponsored events. Usually we end them at Lanier, and but not this year. That's the way things go. Like Joslin is able to get his piece back out here on track. So good on his crew getting back out there. Track temp's gone way down here at 71 degrees. Really going to tighten up. And the lights are on. I believe the lights are on around the track. Yep, lights are on here now. Sun is down, it's freezing cold. Restart here is on Ryan Doucette. We got a new guy in P2 and Keith Meneros, so we'll see what kind of restart he gets. Mullis is going to start P3. Trevor Edwards is P4, and I'm pretty sure that's all that guy needs is another restart here, a little bit better track position, and he'll be able to battle up here for the win. I truly do believe that. As it restarts back on Ryan Doucette, we're back to green, green, green. Myrtle gets off to a pretty good start. Edwards gets off to a great start. They're on the outside. He's way up in turning 1 and 2, but he's going to fall in behind Jimmy Mullis just barely. And there's some tight racing coming out of 4. Everyone knows it's go time. We're on lap 111 and 150. These are pretty much 150 lap sprint races anyways. I don't think anyone holds back in these things. And maybe some of them do. I don't know, for the most part, everyone is just going and getting after it. As Ryan Matthews is trying to cross over 110 of Alex McCollum here for 5th. Guys are side by side. Brandon Wilkinson, oh, McCollum gets in the wall a little bit. It's Wilkinson there in the 56 behind them. Got the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. Tight little group right here. Matthews is going to squeeze him behind McCollum and Wilkinson. There's some great racing that's going on here back in the field, but I don't want to take away from the leaders here either. And the only reason I say that is because Myrtle is able to hang with Ryan Doucette. When Mullis there was behind Doucette, got away just a little bit. Not happening this time. As Meteros is working his way here on the back bumper, he's getting in to the turns extremely well. He's losing a little bit on exit, but his entry into the turn is extremely fast. Like I said, last night in the Contender Series, Heath was running up front, got in a little incident, and went to the back, made his way back up to the front, got into another incident, and pretty much ended his night at that point. But he obviously had a fast piece. If he started up front, went to the back, made his way back up front. He's showing again, once again here tonight, that he has a fast piece underneath him. Let's see if he's able to see it through this time. Come away with a good finish or potentially even a win. As him and Doucette are pretty much mirroring each other in lap times. There's only 3 cars on the track that's in the 18-second bracket. One of them is Joe Schaefer Jr., the other 2 are your leaders. So business has definitely picked up here as times have picked up just a little bit. And that's due to the cooler track temperatures. We're starting to see the strength of Doucette here a little bit, just pulling away ever so slightly. The gap's about 0.4 of a second between first and second. They matched each other in lap time there. They got different philosophies on how they're getting around this track too. Like I stated, Myrtle is really charging the corners. They will make up a little bit of ground, where Doucette is losing a little bit, and he's kind of letting the car do its thing on the entry, but he's able to really let the thing dig. And conversely, that's exactly the problem with Meteros here. He's trying to apply the power late exit, and you see him with the little counter steer coming off these turns, trying to catch the rear end on these things. He's definitely up on the wheel, Meteros is, and unfortunately, it's not mattering right now as Ryan Doucette is pulling away here and really showing his strength here late in this race. Coming up on 25 to go. As Myrtle is extremely loose out of 2. Great save there by him. Still able to make decent time out of it. That's one thing I like. Is, I mean, it's loose, I can save it, but I'm still not running close to the same damn lap time. So, like I said, that's one reason why I'm not racing here on Thursday nights. I'm not as good as these guys. Like I said, it's invite only. If you're interested in racing, you like what you're seeing here tonight for the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series for the Sim Auto Racing Association, go to racesara.com. Go check out the website there. It's a pretty cool website. Or you can go to Sim Auto Racing Association on Facebook. You can sign up. You won't instantly come into the Thursday Night League. Doesn't matter who you are. You have to, show your work. And you can start on the Davis Chassis Works Wednesday Night Contender Series. Like stated, if you do well enough there, you do get noticed and you will get an invite. It can be in the beginning, the middle, the end of the season. It doesn't matter. You can get the invite whenever to come race on Thursday night. You come out here and race with these guys. These are the best of the best. You can go back and watch the race there on SARA TV or even here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. It's always cool to see yourself on track, get to hear exactly what I say or maybe some other people say, and they're always fun to go back and watch. So once again, thanks, Gary. Thanks for doing this here. It's a pleasure for me to do this. I enjoy it, doing it, something different to do outside of the racing portion of it. Gives me something to talk about, something to think about. And, these guys put on a pretty good show here tonight. Ryan Doucette's trying to stink up the joint. We're down to 20 to go. And, Gary, what's your impressions on the race here so far as we're coming down towards the end?
It's absolutely exciting, and especially since the track is starting to cool down. I mean, Doucette's already completely... my goodness, it's been a long night. Man, Doucette's widened that gap by about 3/10 from what I'm seeing right now, and everyone is relatively single file. 20 laps to go, lights are on, and we're going to be in the same situation essentially with what we had with Martinsville last week. Is that the lights, the race has gone on for so long that the lights start to come on, except for Martinsville where that doesn't have lights, but still it's very, very interesting to see what the changes are through here as we're watching it out for P4 right now, or P5 I should say.
Yeah, with McCollum and Brandon Wilkinson, yeah, it's the transition definitely makes a difference, and visually it's pleasing to see. It's more real life, but for anyone that goes to a local short track, especially if you get there early for qualifying and practice and all that jazz, it starts out during the day, and by the time the feature rolls around, it's more likely right around sunset or nighttime. Now, the way that we currently have it set up for this season, just trying to keep all things equal from the beginning of the season to the end, we try to keep the conditions and everything as similar as it was at the beginning of the season. But heading into next season, we'll be doing more sunset races into night, especially for the tracks that have light. And like I said, it's more to what it is to real life. And this is the way we try to keep it here at the Sim Auto Racing Association. So there's some good stuff that's going on. Like I said, it's more single file here towards the end of this race. As I stated prior, once you start getting these long runs and later in the race, just with the way things are currently, it's extremely hard to find speed late in these race cars, and the drivers are so good. I mean, even in qualifying, you're talking about from first to about 20th. It's about 0.2 of a second or so, and that's insane. And so even here in the race, which Gary, you probably have it pulled up just as well as I do as far as these guys' lap times, and you're only talking, about 1.5 to not even 0.2 between some of these guys from the leader, even all the way back through about 19th place or so, 18th place. Guys are running almost the same lap times, so it's extremely hard to pass, and that's why the restarts are so key, and it's why early on people have figured out early on you got to get it done early, because track position is huge. And here at the Sim Auto Racing Association, we don't take tires, so you start the tires you have at the start, it's the ones you're going to have on at the end. And when you get these group of guys like this in an open setup league, it's impressive, but at the same time, it can be frustrating. As we're coming to lap 140 of 150, that's led 93 laps here so far tonight, 94 now. pretty much dominated the race ever since passing Ryan Matthews for the lead. Pulled out to a 3/4 of a second lead and pulling away. Got his Patriot Media Solutions. If I'm not mistaken, that's a sponsor on his car. If it's not, I apologize. Number 77, Chevrolet Camaro. I think it looks good. As we're at 9 to go, we will be coming up to lap down traffic. I don't know if he's going to, he's probably going to catch him. It's going to be Mark Royer just ahead of him there. And Matthew Eddy, those guys will pull over. I can guarantee you that whenever he catches them. Those guys will move out of the way, so that won't be an issue there for him. So if you're Doucette, what you want to see here is for it to go green, probably about another 3 to 4 laps. Yeah. And, you know, the next flag after that will end it. Now, the only thing you don't want to do if you're Doucette is have one of those couple guys up there in front of you wreck and you get caught up in it. Those are worst case scenarios. You won't have to worry about that. Like I said, they're just best guys, best super late model drivers on the service, period. And a lot of these guys have super high I rating. Strength of field, if this was an official, strength of field would be way up there. And you got some guys that have their I ratings are lower than what they would be if they actually cared about official. And yeah, we have some super high guys that's got some high I rating here. So these guys know how to get around, especially in the super late models, but just on the surface as a whole. We're at 5 to go here for Ryan Doucette. Keith Meros is second, Jimmy Mullis is third. No one has any pressure on anyone pretty much. We're winding down here for the race for the Hubs used Sim Racing Giveaways 150 here at Myrtle Beach. This 36 car Mark Royer right just in front of Ryan Doucette. You'll see Mark probably stay high here as they get down into one. Or low. He'll get out of the way. There you go, staying up high there for Doucette, just trying to make sure it's in a safe place for him. Doucette's got 2 fingers out the window, telling him thank you. And he's going to make his way up here to Matt Eddy in the 88 car. Probably won't catch him as we're at 2 to go. Going to be coming to the white flag here. One more lap, get it around here one more time. Ryan Doucette will come away with the victory in dominating fashion, leading over 2/3 of this race. He's probably just going to hang out here behind Matt Eddy, knowing that he has enough room between him and Keith Meteros that he doesn't have to worry about passing him. Like I said, coming away with the victory here tonight in the number 77 car is Ryan Doucette. Second place is Keith Meteros. Third, Jimmy Mullis. Fourth, Trevor Edwards. Fifth, Alex McCollum. Sixth, Brandon Wilkinson. Seventh, Joe Schaefer Jr. Eighth, David Kokorian as he's wrecked. Not too sure what happened there across the line. Ninth was Ryan Matthews. And rounding out your top 10 was Devin Morgan. So congratulations here to Ryan Matthews again. Once again, for winning the Hub Used Sim Racing Giveaways 150 here tonight at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Go ahead and let some of these guys get out of their cars. We'll get a word with the top 3 here tonight. See what they thought about the race. Ryan Doucette is going to burn it down here on the front stretch. They led 105 of the 150 laps here tonight. Once he got the lead, he did not look back. He's going to go ahead and just let it go blow up. Go ahead and pull Jimmy Mullis down here. He finished P3 here tonight. Jimmy, congratulations on your 3rd place finish here tonight. I'm sure it's not exactly where you wanted to finish, but you did come away with a solid point night, which it may have locked it up there for you. I'm not 100% sure, but you finished P3. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your night and how things went?
Well, I started the night in 10th because of, the winners thing. Felt like the car was going to be okay, but me and Jim kind of thrashed at the end of practice and ended up just winging it and ran what he had put together um, and some last minute changes, and it felt pretty good all race. I thought, in the daytime it was really good. Had a lot of grip, really good drive off. I was just really tight in the center anytime I'd get under people. Sorry to Keith, I was checking him up all night when he was behind me trying to get by people. So also shout out to him for not, wrecking me. I know we got together a few times, but that's going to happen when I'm that tight. But yeah, car was all right. Ended up third. Ryan was really quick when the lights came on. So was Keith. I didn't expect to get that tight, but solid run.
Yeah, absolutely. You did what you had to do, come away with a solid point night here tonight. And like I said, you did start P10 due to the winner's invert for winning last week. So, you won't have to worry about that next week, I guess. So we're going into next week for the pre-championship for the Lanier National Speedway and another sunset race. So I think you ran pretty well there last year, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me if I didn't, but do you think you'll have something for them next week?
I think so. Probably gonna, work off the bull ring set or something. It's one of my better tracks. I really like that place, so I'm excited about it. Don't really know what the point situation is, but gonna go in there just like I did tonight and just try to knock out a good race and just do everything in my power to, just keep staying on top. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to it then. I'm sure we'll be talking to you sometime next week as well, as you had a phenomenal season up to this point as well. And like I said, congratulations on your third place finish. Before I get you on your way, is there any thanks or shout outs you would like to give?
Yeah, thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. Always fun to go back and watch those. Thanks to JDR Graphics for the paint scheme, as usual. Thanks to my guys at Lockdown Racing, and shout out to Jim this week. He really helped me out getting this thing right today. Shout out to everybody else in the race for having those green flag runs. That was a lot of fun. Thanks again to you guys and Rolf and everybody else that makes this stuff happen. It's a lot of fun.
All right, bud. Well, we appreciate you, and it's always fun watching you all do what you do. So it makes our job a little bit easier here on the broadcast to give us something to talk about. So, like I said, congratulations on your third place finish, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. That was Jimmy Mullis. Like I said, finished third here tonight. We'll go ahead and get the second place driver up here with us, and Keith. Keith, congratulations on your second place finish here tonight. You made your way up towards the front and had a fast piece, just wasn't enough for Ryan Doucette. What were you missing there in the race to battle for him for the win? And tell us a little bit about your night after that.
Oh, man, the car was great. I got to thank all my teammates, Colin, Michael, Brandon, Adam, man. They really built a good setup. I really didn't work on it this much. I had a lot of work this week, so I didn't have much time into it. But Ryan was just on rails, man. Once I was battled a few guys and really used up the right rear tire, I really didn't have much for him once we were strung out. I just had no bite getting off the corner.
Yeah, it looked like, and I spoke to it a couple times on the broadcast, you had the thing, had a lot of counter steer into it coming, especially out of 4, trying to stay up there with Doucette. And like you said, he was on rails, and kudos for him. But like I said, you had a good run here tonight, and you showed some strength last night there in the Davis Chassis Works Contender Series. So is there anything that you learned from the Wednesday night race that you applied here for tonight?
Patience, Derek. Patience. Patience was key. Just keeping your head level. These races are so incredibly talented with the drivers, and the competition level so high that, man, it's just really hard not to make a mistake. It's just you got to really, be clear-minded and stay focused.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, you did that here tonight, coming away with the second place finish. Like I said, next week you go to the Lanier National Speedway for the pre-championship 200 for the HeinzPride.com pre-championship 200. Do you think you can carry this momentum that you had here for this week and carry it into next week?
Oh, yeah, I think we have a lot of momentum right now. All of us at the team are running really good. We have already a good baseline over there. I think we're going to have something really good. So as long as we stay patient, safe, and not cause any issues, I think we'll be fine.
All right, awesome. Well, before we get you on your way, is there any thanks or shout-outs you would like to give?
Just the whole Front Stretch Mafia crew, Spotter Wilkes, and everyone that supports us and helps us out every week, man.
All right, awesome. Well, congratulations once again, and with any luck, we'll be talking to you again next week.
Thank you, Derek.
After taking the lead away from Ryan Matthews, Ryan Doucette, congratulations on the win here tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your night and a little bit about that piece that you had underneath you, man? That thing was fast.
Yeah, I knew right from the get-go. We qualified good, qualified second, but had to start 7th, I think, because of the invert. Got a bunch, and then in practice we had really good speed, and got to the front pretty early in the race, and it didn't look back from there. The car got a little tight towards the ending stages of the race when the sun went down, and I was a little worried that Keith was going to catch me, but we were able to fend him off.
Yeah, I mean, just your car looked extremely good. It looked like it had a lot of bite out of the turns, more so. And Keith was really good on the entry. It looked like he made up a little bit of time on you on the entry, but once it got to the center off, you were really starting to pull away there. And it looks like it was where you're beating a lot of guys throughout the whole night, just from my point of view. So, you had a very fast piece here tonight. We go into Lanier next week. Do you think anything that you learned maybe even this week you can carry over into next week and duplicate your efforts?
Well, I've been riding away from momentum recently. Ever since the fall brawl, I've had I think this is my 3rd top 3 in a row, so hopefully we can keep that up. I think I've found something that's working for me in the setups in these cars, and I'd love to try and chase down Jimmy for the championship. I don't think that's going to happen. My goal at this point is just to try and get second.
Yeah, the battle for second going into the night, you were 60, which you probably know this, but you were 63 points behind Jimmy Mullis. Pretty decent gap there as far as with a couple of races left. Now, obviously, anything can happen, but the gap between you and second place is only 23 points. And with Jim Caudell and David Kokorian having some rougher nights, which actually DK came away 8th, but you still gain ground on those guys. So, like you said, you have had a good string of finishes here late, going to Lanier next week, and clearly you can probably come away with another win as you dominated here tonight. You did well in the fall brawl, like you stated, so you definitely found something, and kudos to you for that. And like I said, the big win here tonight for the Hub Used Sim Racing giveaway is 150. Before we get you on your way, is there any thanks or shout-outs that you would like to give?
Yep, got to thank Patriot Media and Marketing Services. They've been on the car for a few races, the later half in the season. Grant Bound Racing, Jay Collins Designs, GFAArmstech.com, Accelerated Motorsports, all the admins and guys that run the show at SARA for providing us with a great place to race. You guys for putting on the broadcast. And that wraps it up.
All right, awesome. Well, congratulations here once again, and with any luck, we'll talk to you again next week if you finish in the top 3. So we'll see you then, hopefully.
Hope so.
As Ryan Doucette, like I said, the race winner here tonight, dominating fashion with 105 laps. Like he stated, he's been running extremely well here in these latter stages of the season. So he's definitely figured something out with these cars. And if you didn't notice in those interviews, you had Mullis and Doucette saying they got tight there when the sun went down, and then you had Keith over there saying he was loose. So that's the fine line with these cars. And, Doucette was your race winner and dominated. He had a little tight car. It's hard to get these things perfect. So it's just you got to get them more perfect than the next guy. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Go ahead and give us some shout-outs here once again for our league sponsors, the Sim Marketing Solutions. Like I said, they sponsor the Thursday night, what you're watching here right now. H&H Sign and Supply, been a long time league sponsor there. Davis Chassis Works, who's sponsor of our Contender Series on Wednesday night. Hides Pride Leather and Sheepskin, which speak to that here real quick. That was between Trevor Edwards and the 27 of Justin LeDuc. Trevor Edwards ended up coming away with that Hides Pride head-to-head throwdown between them two as he finished P4, so just outside the top 3. So come away with a little extra coin in his pocket, thanks to Hides Pride. Midwest Power Source, Callaway Investments, who sponsors our Tuesday night modified series. Race1.us, who's our sponsor for our Dirt Night. which is presented by JD Trucking on Monday nights. Salty Hooks, which is Ty Spearman's YouTube channel. Go check that out. The Hub Used Sim Racing giveaways. Go join that group on Facebook. They've got a lot of cool stuff that you can win there for your PC, for your racing PC. Harding Motorsports Supply, Canfield Auto Body, JB Trucking, RBRC, and Russell Brown Race Cars. Once again, give a big shout out here to Gary. Appreciate it, brother, for for the Racing Line Broadcasting Network and stepping up and broadcasting here once again with us. I appreciate your help and thoroughly enjoy what you do as far as the broadcast goes, and your input that you put in for these races as well. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, no, it's been absolutely amazing, and this depth of field for this ending shot is so beautiful, to be honest. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm so glad that this broadcast went a lot better compared, at least on the production end, compared to last week. So I'm glad about that, and yeah, I'm definitely glad to be offered to broadcast this race again, because this was absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah, there were some good battles we seen on the track. We had a big pile up there on the front stretch, so some tore up race cars in that sense. We've seen one flip over, and some good battles for the lead, and pretty much everything else in between. So it was definitely an adventurous night here at Myrtle Beach Speedway. We go to the Lanier next week, and if you've been to the Lanier, and it's a pretty fast little bull ring there. There's a lot of throttle input that's needed to get around that joint, and the track has widened out there before, so we may be able to see some more racing, but there's definitely going to be some beating and banging as we're coming down towards the end of the Sim Marketing Solutions Super Series. So we'll see how everything plays out there next week there for 200 laps at Lanier National Speedway. Like I said, it'll be another sunset race. We'll go into the nighttime just like we did here tonight at Myrtle Beach. And like I said, big shout out to the drivers, to the sponsors, Matt Rolfe for the series here and the league as a whole, all the admins that help out with that. Gary, thanks to you and your broadcasting network, the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, for stepping up and broadcasting these races while SARA TV is going through some technical difficulties on their side of the things. And basically, without you, man, we wouldn't be able to do this. So I appreciate it, and might be having you back there next week.
Hey, I have no argument against that.
All right, awesome. Well, for everyone else, that is going to do it for us here tonight. Ryan Doucette coming away with a big victory here after dominating, leading 105 laps. He's going to try to reel in second place for the points. Jimmy Mullis finishing P3. He's your series point leader currently. He might have this thing wrapped up. We still got a couple races left, but you'll have to come back and find out exactly how all this plays out. Like I said, next week going into Lanier National Speedway for the HeidsPride.com Pre-Championship 200. But until then, I am Derek Robinson. Gary Weaver, you all have a good night.